In the year 2250 AD, the galaxy stands united under the Galactic Emperor, 1,000 star systems bound together by trade, by law, and by a peace so enduring that most had forgotten what war even looked like. Ships crossed the void freely. Worlds prospered. It was, by every measure, a golden age. For centuries, this order held. Generation after generation grew up knowing nothing but stability. Wars faded into history, then into legend, then into myth. The great fleets gathered dust. Civilizations turned their gaze inward, to art, to science, to the quiet pursuit of meaning. The cosmos, at last, knew peace. Then, from the depths of unknown space, from beyond the charted edge of the galaxy where no probe had ever returned, something stirred, a darkness that moved with purpose, a hunger older than the stars themselves. They called it the plague tide. It came without warning and without mercy, a monstrous wave that poured through the outer systems like a flood through broken walls. Entire star systems fell in weeks. Military outposts went silent overnight. Civilizations that had stood for 1,000 years collapsed in days. Fleets scrambled to respond and vanished without a trace. The enemy did not merely conquer, it consumed. Every world it touched was twisted beyond recognition. Cities became nests, oceans turned to poison. The land itself seemed to rot. It spread like a cosmic disease, relentless, patient, and utterly without mercy. And with each world that fell, the tide grew stronger. What remained of the great powers gathered aboard the last orbital station for a final council. The grand chamber, once filled with hundreds, now held only a handful. Empty chairs outnumbered the living. The faces that remained were hollowed by grief and sleepless nights. Desperate, broken, out of options.
There is one last option. It is forbidden. It is ancient. It reaches back to a time before our civilization had even left its home world. A power we swore on the graves of billions, never to use. But we are out of choices, and I will not sit here and watch the last light in this galaxy go dark. We must reach across time itself, across 2,000 years of history, and summon a wizard from the ancient past, a master of crafting, of fortification, of survival against impossible odds. Someone whose magic predates everything we know. Someone the plague tide has never encountered and cannot predict. Not a soldier, not a general. We have sent soldiers. They died bravely and changed nothing. We need someone who can build systems that hold when everything else fails. Someone who can turn bare rock into a fortress. Someone who fights not with armies, but with walls, with towers, with traps that break the enemy before they ever reach the gate.
And so, with trembling hands and forbidden knowledge, they reached across time itself. Ancient machinery hummed to life beneath a circle of runes that no living soul had spoken aloud in millennia. The air cracked. Light split the chamber. And from across the centuries, something answered.
Where am I? What is this place? These lights. I've never seen anything like them. This metal, this humming in the walls. This is not my world. This is not my time. What have you done to me?
You are in the year 2250. I know this must be bewildering. I know you have questions and you deserve answers. But time is something we no longer have. We have summoned you across 2 millennia because the galaxy is dying, Frieza. Everything we built, everything we are, it is falling. Your gifts, your magic, your craft. You are our last hope. We need you to travel to a world called Vina, a remote system at the galaxy's edge, far from the front lines. The plague tide has not reached it yet, but it will. There you must build an interstellar portal, a gateway powerful enough to channel supplies, weapons, and reinforcements across the galaxy in an instant. Through this portal, everything we need to fight back will reach the war effort. Raw materials, weapons, the means to strike back against the darkness. It is the single thread on which our survival hangs. If the portal falls, if they find it and destroy it before it is complete, then we have nothing left. Nothing at all.
I don't understand your world yet. Your machines, your stars, your war, none of it makes sense to me. But I understand survival. I understand stone and mortar and holding a line when the darkness comes. I'll build your portal, Chancellor. You have my word.
Frieza was brought to Vina, a lonely, forgotten world at the galaxy's edge, a barren rock orbiting a dying star, far from the front lines, far from anyone who might care. It was chosen precisely because no one would think to look here. And there, with nothing but stone and stubborn will, he set to work. Days passed. Slowly, the portal took shape, an impossible marriage of ancient magic and futuristic engineering. Stone and crystal, bent and woven by hands that remembered a world 2,000 years gone, now serving a war beyond anything their owner could have imagined. It was crude, it was desperate, and it was their only hope. But the plague tide has eyes everywhere, in the void between stars, in the dust of dead worlds, in places no living thing should dwell. They found the portal, they sensed its power, and now, every night when darkness falls on Vina, they descend from the sky to destroy it.
Then I will hold them. Every night, if that's what it takes. Walls, towers, traps. I will turn this barren rock into a fortress they choke on. Whatever comes down from that sky, whatever nightmares the plague tide sends, they will not touch this portal. Not while I stand.
And so it begins. By night, defend, hold the line against horrors that pour from the dark sky. By day, build, raise walls, forge weapons, prepare for the next assault. The fate of a galaxy, the last hope of 1,000 worlds, rests on one wizard's shoulders. His name is Frieza, and he will not break.